What I have here is my current favorite scooter of the year, the Teverun Fighter Mini Pro. It really is the perfect balance of design, performance, portability, and affordability. So in this review, I'm going to dive into why I love this scooter so much and why I think it is one of the best deals for a sports scooter on the market right now. Let's go. It all starts with this design. I think this is one of the best looking electric scooters that I've ever reviewed. I love the carbon fiber design that they've decided to go with, and all these little angular pieces and the kind of sharp, aggressive design it has makes it feel super sporty and sleek. It's equipped with such a complete suite of features and components. They really have given you the maximum for your money when it comes to the parts that they've used on this scooter. And like with all the other Teverun models that I've had the chance to ride and review, the overall quality seems fantastic. There seems to be a lot of attention to details, and I don't feel like anything is cheap or flimsy on this scooter. Starting at the top in the cockpit here, you get a standard handlebar clamp, which means that you can swap in your own handlebars if you want to at any point. Out of the box, you get locking grips with this faux leather. Now, I do think this faux leather is a little slick, unless you're wearing gloves with some sort of grippy material on them. You get bar and turn signals, which is where they are the most visible. Those are controlled here with this button cluster. You also get a headlight, which is mounted high, which is really nice, and you also get a horn. I'm loving the trend back towards trigger throttles. I think they offer the most control. I think they offer the most comfort over long-term rides, and they also offer the most safety, allowing you to keep your thumb hooked under the bars even while accelerating or braking. You get a color center display, which is unlocked using included NFC chips. And then rounding out the cockpit, you get these hydraulic disc brake levers, which feel fantastic. And overall, the hydraulic disc brakes are a welcome addition to this scooter. More on the brakes a little bit later. You get a great stem lock with double safety measures with both this pin and this extra lever here before you can pop that out. That is nice and stiff, and it keeps the stem nice and rigid. And you can pull this pin to fold the scooter down. They've decided to use the term mini for this scooter, and I think they've done that because the Teverun Fighter Supreme is the bigger one and they wanted to differentiate between those two. But I think overall size of this scooter is really good. I think it's a good balance between size, giving you enough platform space and, enough space from the handlebars for even larger riders, while also being fairly compact and easy to fold down and easy to throw into a car. The folding process itself is really fast, even with the double safety lock. These handlebars come down really fast. You've got a deck latch here, and then boom, there you are. It is quite a heavy scooter, but size-wise, it is very manageable. You get KKE adjustable hydraulic suspension. Even the out-of-box settings on this have felt fantastic. It is a super comfortable scooter. Again, kind of hearkening to some of my favorite suspension, Nami Klima, we're talking Cabo Mantis King GT. It really has that kind of feel when you're on the scooter itself. And again, you can see why I love this scooter so much. One of the highlight features of this scooter is the Bosch motors that they've decided to go with. Bosch also makes electric motors for electric cars. They're a well-regarded brand, and what I like so much about these is how quiet they are. Even at full acceleration, you're not hearing any whine or rattle out of them at all. For performance, you're getting a 60-volt, 25-amp-hour LG battery, so really big battery, high-quality parts. Again, you're getting 25-amp sine wave controllers, and you're getting dual 1,000-watt motors with a peak output just under 3,000 watts. So this has a claimed top speed of 40 miles an hour, which we will put to the test during the riding section. These hydraulic disc brakes are fantastic. They're not specifically branded, but they appear to either be Logan or Nut brakes, which are both brands which are well regarded. You get all the control and extra stopping power that comes with really good hydraulic disc brakes. You have that light feather braking for speed control, and then you have that full lockup, skidding to a stop as quickly as possible braking. That makes you feel really safe in emergency situations. So another component that they've done a really good job with. These are 10-inch by 3-inch CST street tires with just a little bit of tread on them. They felt really good so far. They seem to grip well. I don't get a ton of wheel spin even when laying down all the power up front. they seem to grip really well through the turns, so I'm really liking the tires. They're also tubeless, so they're easier to patch when you get punctures, and they also won't get any sort of pinch flats. You can run them up to 50 PSI. I've been running mine around 40. Seems pretty good, but you can run them a little bit lower if you're wanting more grip. That is another one of the upsides of tubeless tires. Okay, let's jump on this thing now. I'll show you the acceleration numbers, the top speed run, and I'll talk a little bit about why it is such a comfortable ride and such an enjoyable ride, and what really makes this scooter my favorite of the year. Okay, let's start with what I consider the most important performance number, and that is 0 to 30 acceleration. We'll also take a look at the 0 to 15 acceleration in both directions. This direction that I'm looking at typically is slightly slower than the direction coming this way, since the parking lot, while it is flat, is not perfectly flat, and I think it is just slightly uphill in this direction. So we will do both directions. This is everything maxed out, highest speed mode. Ready, 3, 2, 1. That was fast, but also not quite as fast as I was expecting. Let's see, let's look at what the actual time was. Maybe it just felt so smooth. Okay, that was a 0 to 15 of 2.3 seconds and a 0 to 30 of 7.6 seconds. So not quite as quick as the scooter feels. It feels like it has a lot of torque and a lot of pull, and the throttle is really responsive, but it doesn't quite have the 0 to 30 time that I was expecting it to have. I was hoping it'd be about a second faster than that, but let's check in this direction here. Here we go, ready, 3, 2, 1. That definitely will be faster. Okay, that was a 0 to 30 of 7 seconds flat. The 0 to 15 time was under 2 seconds, 1.99, which means that this is, like I said, torquey, and it pulls really aggressively. And that's kind of where its strengths are and why it feels quicker than necessarily the 0 to 30 time says it is. Don't get it twisted. A 0 to 30 of 7 seconds is very good in terms of $1,500 scooters, in terms of that like $1,300 to $1,700 range. That is a very good time. Okay, let's do an official top speed run here. Once again, this direction is typically the slightly slower direction. So we will see what it does here. We're seeing 38 displayed, 39.8 displayed, 40.7 displayed, 41.6 displayed. Okay, 41.6 displayed. I'll put the GPS speed up in the corner right now. You saw it down in the bottom right corner. But let's see if we can milk just a couple miles an hour faster in this direction. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. I typically see around a mile to 2 miles an hour faster in this direction. Also because of the wind a lot of the time. 42.6 displayed. It is holding at 42.6. Yeah, 42.6. Very stable at speed, as you saw. No issues with wobble at all, just extremely stable. Okay, so in terms of displayed speeds, you're seeing around 42 max. That's likely sitting somewhere around 40 with the actual GPS speed. Again, just a very respectable top speed, a top speed that is just, it's a good, solid number. And, you know, this is a perfect opportunity to transition into some of my thoughts about why I like this scooter so much. As you saw, it's not the fastest accelerating scooter that I've ever tested at this price. It's not the fastest scooter I've ever tested at this price, but it is some of the best suspension I've ever tested at this price. I think it's one of the best looking scooters at the price, and it still has everything that makes a sport scooter great. A 40 mile an hour top speed is fantastic, is amazing in fact. A 0 to 30 of 7 seconds is amazing. And it does all of that while staying in a form factor that you could actually haul around if you needed to. You know, for me, the biggest thing is being able to haul it in and out of a car, because I haul my scooters around in cars a lot because I go to different places to ride. But for someone that wants a super well-rounded, comfortable sports scooter and needs to carry it upstairs, or wants to, you know, whatever portability things you want to do with it, it still does that. And that's what I've always loved. You know, the Nami Burnie 2 Max is probably the most fun scooter I've ever ridden, but the reason I liked the Nami Klima so much is because it blended that performance and comfort with practicality. And that's what this scooter does. It reminds me so much of my favorite scooters ever, because what I look for in a scooter is good value for the money, really fun performance, and a really fleshed out, thought through set of features. And that's what this scooter has. It really is such a perfect blend of everything you want in a scooter. This is what you get a scooter for. You get a scooter that can do it all at a good price. Its slightly smaller size also means that it is extremely nimble. It's easy to control. And that's another benefit of these slightly more portable electric scooters. You get a lot more control over what they do. They don't feel sluggish and delayed. And then on top of all of that, you have the quality. These motors are fantastic. I cannot hear the motors. I can barely feel them when I'm at full acceleration. They're so buttery smooth. The quality is so good. The suspension just feels high quality and gives you just such a plush riding experience. Teverun, I think, just nailed this scooter so perfectly. For me, it is one of those scooters that if you have to only buy one scooter, this right now probably tops that list. Now, if I have to get nitpicky, the only things that I don't like about this scooter are the out-of-the-box e-brake settings. I think that it's a little overly grabby with the electronic braking, and it ramps up a little bit too fast. That's something that can be adjusted, so it's not the end of the world. And then the back brake light on the tail is right where you want to lift the scooter up by, but you don't want to lift it up by the brake light because you're afraid of breaking the brake light. So it makes it a little awkward to pick up. There's been other scooters that I've reviewed that have had that same issue, and it's more of an annoyance than anything. And then I guess another small thing were the handlebar grips. I don't like the faux leather. They're not as grippy, and like, it's in the name. You have to grab onto these. If they're not grippy, then what's the point? But again, another thing that you can just swap out if you really, really hate them. I'm still using the stock ones because, like, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, even my complaints are rather small. The scooter is just, it's just so well-rounded and high quality, and that's really all I have to say about this. So if you like the scooter, you want to check it out, the links to it will be down below in the description. Both Teverun and Voro Motors sell this scooter. It seems like it's on sale on one of the websites most of the time for around $1,500. I think even at the MSRP of around $1,700, it's still worth it. So if you can find it at that $1,500 price, I think it is an absolute steal. I think it's the best $1,500 scooter that you can buy. And I also think that this is my favorite scooter of the year overall. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.